The president lawyers was all over the morning news on Sunday today. And you know what? I have mixed feelings about it. First of all, I need to commend the news shows from Dana Bash to George Stephanopoulos to Chuck Todd. They all did a fairly good job of pushing back on the narrative that John Lauro wanted to put out there. In other words, John Lauro think he was going to come out there and lay down the law. It was going to be they're trying to convict Donald Trump on freedom of speech, and also it was the Biden administration that forced it's the one that's persecuting Donald Trump. And what each of these people did was they made it clear that that's not really the case. Now, that said, well, I tell you what, listen to him with Dana Bash, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Here with me now is Trump attorney John Lauro. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Mr. Lauro. This weekend, the judge rejected your request for 3 more days to consider the special counsel's proposed rules for how to handle evidence. The proposed protective order that would let Trump use some sensitive information, but not take that information with him. Will you agree to that?
Well, first of all, this protective order that's being suggested by the Biden administration is an effort to keep from the press important non-sensitive information that the Biden administration has that may speak to.
This isn't by the Biden administration. This is by the
President
special
Trump.
independent counsel.
No, here for this reason, no. The independent counsel, it's not independent, it's special counsel, has to get the approval of Merrick Garland in order to go forward. Joe Biden said in November 2022 that he wanted to see President Trump prosecuted and taken out of this race. So it is the Biden
I'm just going to stop you because there's no evidence
but the bottom line is
Joe Biden is involved in this. And you're right, it's a special counsel. Let's just stick to the question. Do you believe that this is something that you'll agree to?
The point is that we will not agree to keeping information that's not sensitive from the press. The press and the American people in a campaign season have a right to know what the evidence is in this case, provided that this evidence is not protected otherwise. So we're going to oppose it, as we have. But for whatever reason, these lawyers on the prosecution team want to keep that from the press.
Well, won't the evidence come out in trial anyway?
That the press... some of it will, not all of it. I'm shocked that the press isn't lined up objecting to this protective order, because not only is President Trump being attacked for his First Amendment rights, now these prosecutors are trying to impinge on the freedom of the press.
Okay, let's stick to, I appreciate you trying to stick up for us.
What's happening? I'm telling you.
I appreciate you trying to stick up for us, but let's talk about the actual
I'm telling you what's going on right now.
Substance of what they were trying to do in the filing, which was try to make the point not only that they want to keep the discovery information, what the witnesses said, for the time being quiet. But also, he made pretty clear, the special counsel, that the idea that the former president is calling him deranged and mentally ill is something that maybe shouldn't be happening. So let me ask you, as his attorney in this criminal case, do you want your client to stop speaking publicly like this? Using terms like that. This case was brought by the Biden administration in the middle of a political campaign, and with the realization that people are out there campaigning for office. I'm not involved in the campaign. I'm involved in representing. Totally understand. You're not his campaign manager. You are his lawyer. As his lawyer, would you want a client to say things like this about the special counsel?
One thing that we are going to do is fight this very, very unusual, outside of the bounds, criminal prosecution of First Amendment rights vigorously in court. My focus is on addressing the issues. One of the issues that the Biden administration will have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt is that Donald Trump had corrupt intent, had criminal intent when he protested the results of the 2020 election. That's core freedom of speech. That's core
let's talk about this. You've talked about freedom of speech
under our Constitution.
You've talked about freedom of speech a lot. I want you to listen to what Donald Trump's own former Attorney General said about that argument?
I really don't think that's a valid argument. He can say whatever he wants. He can even lie. He can even tell people that the election was stolen when he knew better. Free speech doesn't give you the right to engage in a fraudulent conspiracy.
Your response?
Well, first of all, there was no fraudulent conspiracy. That's part of the reality of the defense. What President Trump was entitled to do and what Mr. Barr misses, and I'm not sure he's read all the cases, but when it comes to political speech, you can not only advocate for a position, but you can take action. You can petition. You can ask even your vice president to pause the vote for a period of time in order to allow the states to recertify.
Which is what this indictment alleges.
Now, Dana Bash did something good. She didn't allow him to claim that it was all about free speech or freedom of speech. She didn't allow that. But more importantly, she pushed back. And where did she push back? She pushed back on Trump, on the narrative that they're trying to put out there that said, Joe Biden went ahead and said, go convict this guy. It is important for us to prosecute this guy. And what they are trying to pick up on is a discussion that Biden had with a few of his inner circle guys that said, yeah, look, what Trump did was actually illegal. What Trump did is prosecutable. Now, I'm not going to get involved with the Justice Department, but anybody, every single person who wants to be honest about it understood that Donald Trump attempted a coup on the United States of America. And if you go down and you read the particular sentence about that Lauro would like to talk about, he said, the Attorney General's deliberate approach has come to frustrate Democratic allies of the White House and at times President Biden himself. As recently as late last year, Mr. Biden confided to his inner circle that he believed former President Donald J. Trump was a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted, according to two people familiar with his comments. And while the president has never communicated his frustrations directly to Mr. Garland, he has said privately that he wanted Mr. Garland to act less like a ponderous judge and more like a prosecutor who is willing to take decisive actions over events of January 6th. And you know what? While the Attorney General had not gone directly against Donald Trump, there are over 500 of these insurrectionists that he put away. So in effect, yes, we wanted him to go after the big dog because all these little people are the ones being thrown in jail for the insurrection, the ones who've been thrown in jails for the attempted coup. Donald Trump should be the big dog that is caught because he is the one who attempted to unconstitutionally destroy this United States government. The guy is a traitor, and he should be treated as such, and we should not allow a defense attorney to come on national TV throughout the nation and make it seem like there's some sort of plausible deniability for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is an insurrectionist. Donald Trump attempted a coup on the United States of America. Donald Trump must be convicted of this. And whether the Republican Party, what's left of it, decide that they want a thug to be their representatives, that is their choice. But then America gets to decide who it will choose as the president of the United States. Now, I wish we could get a super progressive as president because that's what most Americans deep inside for their thoughts, that's what they want. But we have what we have, what we have.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.